Well, good afternoon. Well, as you said, I mean, Israel is demanding Iran to pull out all its proxies, all its foreign legion from Syria, which is the likelihood of which is almost impossible. I mean, because Iran has been invited officially by Syria to intervene in the Syrian conflict. So, I mean, this is quite obvious that the Security Council cannot make any decision on this issue, and certainly it's only just for political purposes, no more than that.
Interesting. Well, Israel has been carrying out airstrikes against Iranian targets more and more frequently in Syria as of late. Why are we seeing an uptick here, or do we just happen to see Israel caring less about exposure?
Well, both things are correct. I mean, we are talking today. I mean, more than 36 airstrikes have been attributed to Israel on Syrian territory this year, which is not a small amount of attacks. And mainly the attacks were aimed at first, I mean, stopping the flow of weapons of precise guided missiles to Lebanon, to Hezbollah, and secondly to stop the consolidation of Iranian positions facing the Golan. Just to give you an illustration, yesterday the bombing of the Syrian positions in the southern part of the Golan it's less than 1 kilometer from the Israeli border. So I mean we have already there Iranian proxies entrenched on the ground, less than 200 meters from Yundaf position. So we are really facing the Iranians in front of us.
Well, it's very concerning. I mean, if no international action is taken to prevent a permanent Iranian military presence in Syria, what can we expect Israel to do here? I mean, how big of a conflict could this become?
Well, fortunately for us, I mean, there's Syria between us and Iran, and there's also Iraq. So, I mean, we don't have, at this moment, we don't have an Iranian presence on the ground. We don't have Iranian troops on the ground. But, I mean, the retaliation from the Iranians can be by two main ways. One is firing missiles from Iran into Israeli territory or from Syrian territory, because they don't have the means to fight the Israeli Air Force, or acting through Hezbollah. And this, I mean, the likelihood of a conflict deteriorating between us and Hezbollah and Iran is quite likely in the near future.
How likely? When you say quite likely, I mean, how would this actually look? What could ultimately happen here, and how soon?
We are talking here about a very subtle balance. I mean, between what Israel is doing and how much are the Iranians ready to support and to accept. And if we just trespass the red lines that we don't know right now, according to Iranians, then the Iranian retaliation or the reaction would be different. Mm-hmm. They have tried in the past by trying to send drones into Israeli territory, by trying to intercept aircraft that are attacking in Syria. Till now, they haven't succeeded. But they have introduced lately air missile defense system, which are more or less parallel to what the Russians are not giving to the Syrians. And this definitely might bring the conflict between us, or the war between the wars, as we call it here in Israel, between us and the Iranians, to such a level that we cannot escape an open confrontation between us and the Iranians and Hezbollah.